I am standing outside of South Knoxville Baptist Church. South Knox Baptist is a beautiful historic church that's founded in 1889. And for more than 100 years, this church has been home to generations of people where they worshiped together, where they did life together, and where they sought to join Jesus in his mission in this city together. And at one time, a few hundred people called this church home. Sadly, today, 2019, just a handful remain. And South Knox Baptist is what we often refer to as a dying church. And it's a sad story, but it's not an uncommon story. And I share it because I think it's a really good picture of generally what has been happening in the city of Knoxville for a long time. You know, if you were to visit the city and just kind of drive through, you would see a number of beautiful buildings like this, historic churches that have been here for a very long time. You would see other buildings, newer churches of various, tribes within our family of faith. And you might even be tempted to just assume that this is a largely reached city, but you would be wrong. Recently, Knoxville was named one of the 100 most post-Christian cities in the U.S. All right, millennials, my generation, we generally aren't in church. We have left and have no intention of coming back. As we look at the generation coming behind us, Gen Z, things are even more bleak. In fact, the most recent research shows that if the church continues as it is, doing the same kinds of things, and we don't change anything, we can expect just 1 in 10 of Generation Z to become followers of Jesus, just 10%. Several years ago, a large study was done in the city of Knoxville to get a gauge for the spiritual climate and how engaged people actually are in faith communities. And what they found is that just 20% of our city are actively engaged in a faith community. 40% claim no religious affiliation, and another 40% are what we call duns. People who maybe spent some kind of time in a church like this, but have since walked away. Right? I think when we consider the numbers and we look at reality, I think we have to conclude that the city of Knoxville is a largely lost city, where Jesus is not widely known, and where life in him is not generally experienced. This is a big part of the reason why we are setting out to start a new work right here in the heart of Knoxville. You see, we believe that Jesus is still in the business of changing lives, right? That God has not given up on the city of Knoxville, but is just getting started. Right? We believe God is still in the business of bringing hope to the hopeless and healing to the broken and reconciliation where right now there is only division, to bring life where right now there is just death. And so we want to invite you to be a part of that, right? Even if you are not in South Knoxville, even if you're not in Eastern Tennessee, you can still be a part of what we're doing. Right? Number one, we need people to pray. And I don't say that lightly. Right? We are painfully aware that we can't do anything without Jesus. Right? Nothing of substance anyway. Right? It's God who changes lives. It's God who can heal relationships and human hearts. Right? He is the only one that can do the business we're setting out to do. And so we desperately need him to go before us. And we need men and women who are willing to get on their knees and to pray with us for this new work and for the city of Knoxville. All right, secondly, you can help spread the word. Right? We know that this is not going to be for everybody, but it's for somebody. And it might be for somebody you know. Right? Maybe there's people that come to mind and you think, I think they might want to be a part of this. I could see them really connecting with this. This might be in their zone, or maybe there's a church or a person or family who you think, I could see them getting behind this. Like even if they can't physically be a part of it, I could see them wanting to help make this possible. The third way you can get involved is to give. And we need people to give. The area that we're going to, somebody who's been in church planting for the last 15 years, generally speaking, this is not a place that you go to plant a church, right? The work here is it is slow, it is hard, it is messy. This is not a high-income area. Generally, incomes are lower than in other areas, and there's some real needs here. And so we need a community of people, not only from within, to give generously and help make this possible, but we need others outside of this new work to partner with us, to give generously, to help make this possible so that the work can go forward. And then lastly, the most hands-on way to be a part of this is to roll up your sleeves and join us. right? We're looking for a few good men and a few good women to join us in this new work. We're willing to say, I'm not content to just go to church. I want to be the church where the church currently isn't, right? To say, we're going to love people well, right? We're going to step in and we want to have the calluses of love on our hands and the dirt of our city underneath our fingernails. And so if that's you, we would love to sit down and talk.